Hey guys, welcome back to another crypto and macro news in 10 minutes or less. It is Monday, the 14th of February, and there is a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Starting out today, so the market wrap from the weekend. So crypto and stocks dropped on Friday and on futures markets over the weekend as geopolitical tensions between Russia and the Ukraine rise. So that's seemingly going to play out until we get some sort of idea which way that's going to go in the coming days and weeks. Samsung has unveiled a crypto wallet and storage for its new S22 smartphone. Um, so Apple is lagging behind on crypto payments on iPhone, but we know they're working on that on the back end. So Samsung made the announcement at a metaverse event the other day. So looks like everything's trending in the right direction in terms of mobile platforms and crypto. YouTube has jumped on the NFT bandwagon with new tools for creators. So they're working on NFTs and other new monetization tools for creators. John Lennon's son is selling NFTs of the Beatles memorabilia. So uh, three Gibson guitars, a coat from the Magical Mystery Tour, and handwritten notes from Paul McCartney are all being turned into NFTs and are selling at auction. Uh, just on NFTs, so Synth Futures is something that you can play around with if you're interested in betting on these types of markets. So they actually have a feature where you can long and short NFTs with leverage. Um, so they're currently in beta at the moment. So if that's something that you want to look to be on the forefront of, you can check those guys out. Netflix announces a new series on the Bitfenix hack from 2016, where 120,000 Bitcoin was stolen, which the US authorities have just recovered. So, like an amazing story if you haven't seen the news for that from last week. But yeah, Netflix are going to be turning that into a series. So that's pretty cool. Binance. Binance will be one of the biggest two owners of Forbes. So they've made a strategic investment into the digital publisher, and which will give them a couple of seats on the board. Coinbase trading vulnerability has been exposed by a white hat hacker. So this has already been patched up. But a Twitter user notified the Coinbase team of a potential exploit and tried reaching out to them so they could patch that up. So they suspended trading on their new advanced trading platform while they did so. And how this usually works is, these white hat hackers. There's a platform called HackerOne. So they run their reports on there, and they actually get paid to do so. So it's an incentive for hackers to assist patching up smart contracts and finding bugs and exploits in various exchanges. So yeah, it's all pretty positive on Coinbase. Um, Edge Protocol. So this launches tomorrow, notably with no token. So that's instantly something you want to keep an eye on in the future. So I'd recommend jumping over and having a play. So it is native to the Terra ecosystem, and it is essentially just a money market on Terra. So launching tomorrow. So it's yeah, for borrowing and lending. The notability of Edge Protocol is that it has a great opportunity for employing a looping strategy to gain 50 to 80% returns on your stablecoins, UST stablecoins, that is. So that launches tomorrow, so go and check that out. Still on the crypto token side of things, there is a new meme coin that has been doing the rounds and started a few days ago. Marshall Rogan Inu. So I've had a look at this one. It's like I said, it's literally just a couple of days old. but it's done thousands of percent return already. Currently listed on Uniswap. So it's on the ETH blockchain. They're moving into a movement that sponsors MMA and UFC fighters and pays them in crypto. So it's very much around that type of industry. They've got a very rudimentary website up if you want to go and check that out. But they do have some pretty funky tokenomics from what I can tell. So buy and sell sort of entry and exit fees and whatnot. But currently, fair launch has been done, so they're currently working on a CoinGecko and a CoinMarketCap listing. So they're very, very early stage. So if you want to ape in and attempt to find what could possibly be the next Shiba sort of moon run type token, hey, it's got potential. You never know with these type of things. So if you're interested in aping into that, I wouldn't expect to lose it all, put it that way. Moving on to the macro news. So traders are pricing in 7 Fed rate hikes this year as global bonds tumble. We know that it was 4 to 5, so it looks like traders are pricing in even more now from last week. Fed one meeting away from creating a doomsday market sinkhole. So we know that the Fed is meeting for their emergency meeting today. So we'll see what happens with that. The market's expecting a 50 basis point move. But as noted in this report on Zero Hedge, so the Fed's created a catch-22 situation in which inflation will hit hard regardless of whether they rate hikes or not. The journalist believes that the Fed will stick with rate hikes this time because they have to at least be seen to be trying to do something about inflation. The same inflation that the Fed themselves created over a decade of, helicopter money and easy credit. So I tend to agree with this. I think that they do need to be seen to be trying to do something about inflation. So I think that this year we do raise rates until it gets to that sort of precipice breaking point. But there'll be different. There'll be different effects on different sectors of the economy and the markets, I believe. So, with that being said, as an example of that, Goldman has come out and said, with money flowing into stocks at a record pace, they don't see a larger correction taking place. So, interesting in this article. So, global equities logged a massive $46.5 billion worth of inflows this week, which is the 4th largest weekly inflow into global equities on record, working out to be 9.3 billion per day. So that has been an increase of 220% week over week. It's just showing that different parts of the market are being smashed while others aren't. It's looking like just a rotation, which usually happens in Q1. But people are readjusting their portfolios, getting out of tech and crypto and risk assets, and moving over to more sustainable value stocks, I would imagine. And shout out for the Super Bowl. It's on today, so just to bring my point on inflation, I just wanted to point this out. So Bloomberg have noted that tickets to this week's Super Bowl are the most expensive on record, averaging $7,542, which is, insane. But that's just the world we're living in at the moment. Worth pointing out as well, if you're interested in having a bet, while it is illegal in Australia, it is legal in Australia and the US and many other countries. Sports betting and gambling is illegal in many places around the world. So, one of the great things about decentralization is giving power back to the people. So, Polymarket is a project that runs on the Ethereum blockchain, which is essentially just a decentralized betting platform. So you can throw your money in here on who's going to win, the Rams or the Bengals. So obviously, LA Rams are hot favorites here, but they've also, you can create your own markets on here as well. Like, will a bored ape appear during the halftime commercial? Yeah, so if you're interested in that type of stuff, you can check that out. It's pretty cool. So the ASX to fall as the government is urged to ditch tax cuts. So the local market is expected to fall out of the gates as fears of a Russian invasion on Ukraine continue to weigh. Just essentially echoing on from the US, the last US session on Friday, where it trended down for a second day in a row. And borders are open, so it's probably wiser to start doing your due diligence on the investment opportunities that presents. So obviously there are a whole bunch of sectors that are going to start to see more inflows and revenues, as well as more economic activity. So, think tourism, travel, retail, hospitality, that type of stuff. So, there's a bunch of ETFs, one being the Better Shares iBuy, which is going to be launched next week. So that has a whole bunch of exposure to companies like Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia.com, and things like that. Maybe also have a look at ETFs like small cap ETFs to get exposure to those niche markets as well. And that pretty much covers it for today, guys. If you're interested, jump over to my website, fireinvestor.io, grab a copy of my book. There are some links to free Bitcoin, amongst other things. Sign up to my free weekly newsletter that I've just started. So I just released my first issue on Friday. So if you're interested in that, the link will be down below. And that is it for today, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.